Hello students, good morning. And in this part 2 video of the respiratory system, we will go through the important aspects of this system as we all have understood that all living organisms need energy for the life processes to continue. Now, in living organisms, first of all, if we talk about plants, so, how do they get energy? They get energy by the same process of respiration, the cellular respiration, and glucose is broken down to release energy in the presence of oxygen mainly. So, that is the aerobic respiration. Now, the oxygen availability is must, and from where plants get oxygen? So, the plant body, the different parts of the plant body, they receive oxygen like the stem, the leaves, and the roots. In the leaves, stomata are there through which gases exchange takes place. Stomata are the pores, the microscopic pores on the leaves, and the opening of the stomata is regulated by the guard cells, as you know, two bean-shaped guard cells. So, the stomata is the only route through which gases exchange take place on the leaves, and the plants also have small pores on the stems. Those are called lenticels. So, through this also gases exchange takes place, and in the roots also respire. Plants also respire through roots because from the layers of the soil after plowing or tilling, the oxygen molecules are there in between the layers of the soil, and these oxygen molecules enter the root cells, and by this oxygen enters through root. So these are the parts of the plants through which they obtain oxygen. So regarding the other animals, there are different ways to obtain oxygen. Like in fishes, they obtain oxygen through gills. When the fish opens its mouth, the water enters and passes through the gills, and oxygen is absorbed there and it is circulated throughout the body. So, this is the mode of receiving oxygen in fishes. In amphibians, that is in frogs, the larvae stage, the larvae respires through gills, but the adult frog respires by lungs. So, like this in reptiles, in snakes, in crocodiles. So, in all these animals in the class Reptilia, they respire by lungs right from the birth. So, students, there are different ways to obtain oxygen by the animals also. And in the class Mammalia, to which we also belong, so here respiration takes place by lungs. But in insects, there is a system of tubes which are called tracheae, and they are in contact with the air through the small pores which are called spiracles. So there is a different system in insects, a system of tubes in their thorax and abdomen region, and they are obtaining oxygen through the small pores which are called spiracles in that system of tubes. So this is respiration in insects. So students, these are the different modes of obtaining oxygen. This you have to remember in different animals. Now, talking about the aerobic and anaerobic respiration once again. Aerobic, as we all have understood, is breakdown of glucose in presence of oxygen, that is oxidizing the glucose molecules, and release of energy is taking place. That is, the glucose is broken down into CO2 and water and 38 ATP when it glucose is combining with oxygen. So this is aerobic respiration, and that means that it will only happen in the presence of oxygen. And anaerobic means in the absence of oxygen or where oxygen is lacking, sometimes anaerobic respiration starts taking place. So it is in the absence of oxygen. And now the second difference can be that aerobic respiration is the complete breakdown of glucose, but anaerobic respiration, it is incomplete breakdown of glucose. And in aerobic respiration, greater amount of energy, that is 38 ATP. The source of energy is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So 38 molecules are being released, and in anaerobic it is only 2 ATP. So it is quite less. The energy amount is quite less than that released in the aerobic respiration. So these are the main differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, students. And anaerobic respiration cannot take place for a longer period of time. Sometimes it may happen, sometimes it is there in human beings also. For example, when we do vigorous exercises or activities, physical activities, sometimes we get sprains in our legs. So that is because sufficient supply of oxygen which is needed at that point of time is not available. So anaerobic respiration starts taking place, and when there is a lack of oxygen in some part of the body, so this anaerobic respiration will produce lactic acid in animals. So there is the accumulation of lactic acid in the muscles, and we start feeling pain and discomfort. So this is because of the anaerobic respiration which takes place for some time, and again when the situation becomes normal, it comes back to the aerobic respiration. So like this, the anaerobic respiration takes place whenever there is a lack of oxygen, or wherever there is absence of oxygen. The yeast always anaerobic respiration takes place, and the byproduct is alcohol or ethanol. So this is an example of anaerobic respiration again. So like this, you have to remember the important differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, students. So I think we have discussed about the important aspects of the respiratory system once again. So I end my topic here, and I wish you all the best for your preparations. So goodbye and thank you once again.